My name is Pastor Daren Erisman. I'm the president of the San Dieguito Interfaith Ministerial Association. It's a really long name. I still think that's long. We've been gathering, this interfaith group has been gathering for 25 years, and we come together to build relationships, to build friendships and understanding. And as we've gone through these years, let me tell you, there are lots of differences of opinions and perspectives, but we come together because we know and we affirm and we live that we share a common humanity, that we share these motives, these desire for peace in this world. And so we come together through all these years. And so we are so pleased to be here tonight and to present Terry Fitzpatrick. He is a deputy communications director of Free the Slaves, and this organization has this amazing, ambitious goal of ending slavery in our lifetime. Of freeing those people who are caught in slavery, caught in human trafficking, of rebuilding their lives, of changing the systems that allow slavery to be in existence at all. And so they're working with grassroots activists throughout the world, and they bring all these tools from beating down the doors to changing policy and using modern media to change the hearts and minds and to tell the story, to bring it alive, to change the lives of this world. So Terry started out, he wanted to be an oceanographer, I'm told. He wanted to save the whales, which is wonderful. But he decided think a little bigger, and he decided about saving the entire planet. And so he switched to journalism, and he's been reporting and working in 6 continents, working for NPR and PBS and the History Channel and Discovery Channel, and now he's based in Los Angeles, and he's actively spreading the word that slavery can be eliminated and together will be eliminated. Thank you. Please join me in welcoming Terry Fitzpatrick.
That little self-serving introduction that I wrote there. The reason I thought a little bigger about saving the whole world is I flunked out of calculus. You can't really be an oceanographer if you can't integrate and differentiate in calculus. So, but thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm going to educate you and hopefully inspire you in the next few minutes about something that most people thought we had taken care of. Could we go ahead and start the slides? We call this talk Slavery 101 because most people need a bit of education to begin with. And I'm sorry that they did not warn you about this before you came, but you also take a test. I'm going to switch the slide. Next slide. Okay, here's a question. When was slavery abolished? What do you think? 1807, 1863, 1926, or 56, 1970, or 2000? Well, now this is a poster, by the way, of from the old Anti-Slavery International group in London. And this is activists like Thomas Clarkson and William Wilberforce in small town meetings. Many of them Mennonite and Quaker groups would get together, and they would print these pamphlets showing what human cargo really looks like, packed into the slave ships, people being moved from Africa. And when they started distributing that, they actually brought shackles with them to these meetings and showed people the inhumanity and the brutality of the system. And that won the moral argument. That was the abolition of the slave trade in the British Empire, 1807. Quite a while ago. We're still at it, though. 1863, what was that? Emancipation Proclamation. 1926 was a League of Nations first convention to suppress the slave trade. 56 was the formal United Nations Convention against Slavery. 1970 was the last country in the world to actually put a law on its books outlawing slavery. It is now illegal everywhere, every country in the world. Which country was last? What do you think? Oman was the last country, 1970. And 2000 was a recent UN development called the Palermo Protocols, which actually prohibits the movement of people across international borders, trafficking. And we make a little difference inside the abolition movement, a distinction between trafficking and slavery. Trafficking is moving people from their homes to some other place so they can be enslaved. There are many, many people in slavery living in their own homes. They haven't been moved away from their communities. Now, those words get interchangeably used. So a lot of people say the movement to end trafficking and slavery. But the laws have kept marching along. But the problem is that laws are not enough. It hasn't worked. Slavery still exists. And there are more slaves today than ever before in human history. 27 million. I'm going to show you a video in a couple minutes that you'll see some slaves talk about their circumstances in life, some people who have been liberated. You will see a raid and how people are liberated, how the process works. And then I'll come back and talk a little bit more about our philosophy as a group and how people can get involved and how we build a bridge from people who need resources and people who have resources, and how we try to build kind of a global connection to make freedom possible. Can we have the next slide? Here's the problem with why laws don't work. Thinking slavery ended with the Emancipation Proclamation is like thinking adultery stopped with the Ten Commandments. Laws just aren't enough. And that's why Free the Slaves exists, because laws aren't enough. It requires much, much more, and you'll see that in just a minute. Now, it's important, and I think one of the reasons that we were invited to speak to you here tonight is because of the next slide. Violence makes slavery possible. Violence is what separates someone in slavery from someone who just has another crummy job, someone that's just being exploited. It's the violence that keeps them there, that prevents them from walking away, that attacks their mind and their spirit, as well as, I'll show you some pictures of people who have been kept in chains, literally, just recently. I met them in Pakistan a couple years ago. So it's a violent, abhorrent practice that's still around. Let's go ahead and run the video. This is about 10 minutes long.
There are 27 million slaves in the world today, more than at any other time in human history.